Hello, hello. Amira Alvarez here, and welcome to another episode of the Unstoppable Woman podcast. Today, we are diving in deep to the scale plan. In this training, we are taking you through the scale plan, a simple yet powerful checklist to help you get to your next level revenue goal, whether that's 6 figures, 7 figures, or really taking it beyond that to multiple 7 figures or even 8 figures. What are you going for? Let's help you scale. Welcome to the Scale Plan training. This is a simple yet powerful step-by-step walkthrough of what it takes to get to 6 figures, 7 figures, or beyond in whatever industry you're in, even if you're already overwhelmed and at capacity. Yep, even if you're overwhelmed and at capacity. And if you work this properly, you can do it without starting another thing that you don't finish, without losing trust in yourself, without ignoring your family, and especially without taking on one more thing that puts you over the edge and into burnout. So how can I actually claim that? Well, when you get super clear and you make good decisions for yourself and you really see what needs to happen and put it in the right order, and then you execute on things one at a time. You can do that quickly, and you can do that without the overwhelm, without the confusion, without the panic or that feeling that you're behind the gun or the tigers are chasing you or you're never going to make it or you can't keep up. You can do it without any of that if you work the plan and work your perspective around that. That's your mindset. That's how you view what you're doing. And this training, this plan that I'm taking you through is going to teach you how to create that plan. Start that at least. So let's get started. Now, again, I want to say that this is a simple yet powerful checklist of what you need to do. You actually have to do the work and flesh it out. Okay, you actually have to take action on this. Actually scaling does not mean that you have to DIY everything. Of course, you're ultimately responsible for your own success. But here's a important piece that oftentimes women in business overlook. You're 100% personally responsible for your results, but you can't do it alone. You need help to scale. You need help to scale. You need team, you need support, you need mentors, you need colleagues, you need business besties. You cannot do it alone. You have to be fully responsible for taking the action yourself. But you won't be able to get the leverage that you want if you don't tap into the power of people. So I want you to remember that as we're going through these steps. Now, I call this the scale plan, how to get to 6 figures, 7 figures or beyond, because it works at all the levels. So if you're going for 50K, it works for that. If you're going for 100K, it works for that. If you're going for 500K, it works for that. If you're going for 7 figures, it works for that. If you're going for 8 figures, it works for that. Building a business that is cash flow positive, that brings in revenue, is not complicated. It's a very simple math equation, but you got to get your head right about it and you have to get clarity on it. And sometimes we have limiting beliefs, which this stems from your self-image and that lives in your subconscious. So we're going to call this your subconscious programming that tells you what to think about everything you experience, including this plan. So you're going to want to watch out for where you shut off. Where did you just go and fog out? If you're listening to this recording, where did you go, oh, what did she just say? Go back and listen to that. That's your subconscious getting you to skip a piece, skip a key element in the plan to check out so that you don't actualize on what is right in front of you. Pay attention to when you say, oh, that won't work for me, or that's not for me, or I can't do that now, or I'll do that later, or that's for someone else, or I'm not at the place in my business when I can do that, or I'm going to use this thing first and skip this other thing. Pay attention to where the rationalizations come up for why you don't need to pay attention and why you don't need to execute on something. And bonus, if you stop the recording and write that down so that you are super clear about what your alibi is, where you stop, it's going to look absolutely 100% reasonable and rational to you. It's going to be a very good reason. And yet, it never is. It's just the reason that you agree with right now to delay your good. So pay attention to those two things. That is a hard one for many people, okay, to really, really take in, really, admit and see and recognize. But it happens at every single level. Even if you've already crossed the 7-figure mark, pay attention to where you're saying to yourself, I can't do that now. It has to be later. These things have to be in place first. Now, is there an order for things? Absolutely. But put it down, put it in your calendar, make sure it happens. Don't delay your good, and ask yourself, this is a little tip here, guys. Ask yourself, how can I close the gap on time here? Can I do it faster? Is there really a reason that I can't do that? I'm often talking to my clients in the Spirit of Wealth, in my immersion program. I'm talking to them and I'm saying, can't you do that today? That's a 10-minute project. Why are you waiting 2 weeks to do that? Go make that call today. And what happens is they close the gap on time and they achieve their goals faster than they've ever done before. And it's not rocket science, but we get in our own way with how we fog out. Okay, so with that as the premise, let's get started with this simple yet powerful checklist on how to help you create the scale plan for your business. Okay, first, having a clear plan to scale is the first step in getting you to your 6 figures, 7 figures, or beyond. You need a plan. You can't just say, it's just going to happen. It's going to fall from the sky. It's going to be magic, right? That's not how manifestation works. That's not how creation works. How creation works is you conceptualize what you want, you get emotionally involved with it, and then you start taking action on it. Now, what kind of action is really critical? In order to make it happen faster, you need an ordered plan. Now, you don't need a 5-year plan. You don't need a 3-year plan. You need a plan for the next 6 months. And I'm telling you, I work with high-level people. My colleagues are running $5 million, $10 million, $20 million businesses. And when we mastermind together, it's just for the next month's recurring revenue. What are we doing to get to that next level? What are we doing to get to that next annual goal? It's not for the 20-year plan. You can have a target that's a big, crazy ass target, but then you need to order the steps. And it doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be how to execute on the next level. So keep that in mind. This is going to be very straightforward. And I created this in a way that was very straightforward and simple so that you wouldn't get confused, and by getting confused, go into the spin out and the delaying. If you get confused at any point during this recording, I want you to do 2 things. I want you to pause the recording and take some deep breaths and just think about what I just said that caused you to go into confusion and spin out. What was the trigger there? Identify that for yourself. And then take another couple deep breaths and go back and listen to what I just said again and see what drops in now that you've recognized that that's your trigger. It's really important to move through your triggers. Now, there are a variety of ways to do that are not part of the teaching for this scale plan, but it is something that we help our clients with. So for right now, I just want you to take a couple of breaths. If you get confused, figure out, what did she just say that caused me confusion? What triggered me to go into confusion? What don't I understand? Write that down. And then listen again and see if you can understand it. If you can't, just keep moving. Just keep going forward. It might become clearer as we continue forward. So, what's the first step in the plan? The first step is to clarify and identify your income goal for this year. Now, some people already go into confusion with that. Amira, do you mean for the remainder of this calendar year? Do you mean for the next 12 months from this point? Do you mean from when I started my financial year? This is up to you, okay? What makes sense to you? Do you want to do it for the next 12 months starting today? Do you want to do it from your beginning of your financial year? Or do you want to do it as the calendar year? Just pick the one that works for you. Don't overthink this, okay? So what is your income goal for this year? Okay, now the next step in the scale plan is to identify and really tap in, feel into whether this income goal that you chose was a stretch goal for you. Now, a stretch goal is a goal that makes you super excited and kind of afraid. It's such a stretch that you're like, I don't know if I can do that. Is that possible? It's within your realm of belief. If you're making zero right now and you say, I want to be a billionaire by the end of this year, and you have no belief in that, that is not a good goal. But if you're making zero right now and you're like, I want to make 100K this year, and you're like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but you can wrap your head around believing it, that's a good stretch goal. If you're already making six figures and you're like, I want to get to 1 million this year, and you actually believe that you can do that, that's a great stretch goal for you. That was me. I was making 138K. I was in my 4th year in business, and I was like, I want to make $1 million this year. I don't know where that idea came from. Well, I do know where it came from. I heard someone say that it was possible to do it. And I was like, I want that. I want that. I didn't know why I wanted it, but I want that. And so I claimed that as a goal. I had no freaking idea how to do it, but I worked with a mentor who helped me lay out a plan and helped me move through my self-image and identity blocks so that I could actually execute on it. And in that year, I went from 138 to 700K. I 5 times my income. Yep, I did not make my 7-figure goal, but hey, I 5 times my income, and that was quite a quantum leap. And then subsequent to that, I did cross the 7-figure mark, and we've kept growing from there. So I didn't know how to do that. A stretch goal is something that really excites you, makes you wonder, how the heck is that going to happen? And you might even say something like, who am I to want so much? So when you look at your income goal that you selected for yourself, is it a stretch goal? Is it something that actually stretches you, that is not a reasonable step, but kind of in the realm of quantum leaping for you? Kind of in the realm of like, I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but I get that tingle of, yeah, that might be possible for me if I knew what to do and I had the support and I, had the dedication and the commitment and the accountability and the focus and the belief, and I understood the universal laws and all those things, because I'm telling you, that's what it takes, okay? That's exactly what it takes. I had to intellectually understand the universal laws and live them and really stay accountable, really stay committed, really stay focused, really move through all the terror barriers that came up. And I did all of that. And execute it. So it takes something. It doesn't take nothing. Okay. And I had a plan I was executing on. So today we're looking at the plan. So if your answer was no, that's not a stretch goal. Do not continue in this training. Just don't. It's not going to work for you. Okay. I am so direct on this. It's not going to work to scale at the level that you want to scale at if you're not a little scared and a lot excited. It's just not. Because what happens is you pick something that's reasonable. I'm going to make 20K more this year or 10K more this year. And it's not enough to get you super excited about the end result. So then you don't do the hard work. Now for you, making 10 or 20K this year might be a stretch goal. If you've made zero your entire life, that might be a freaking stretch goal for you. But if you've made, say, 40K this year and you're picking 50 as your goal, that is not a stretch goal. That is not going to be enough to get you so excited about achieving what you want to achieve that you will do the hard things. And let me tell you, I'm going to be really straight with you. I can help you make it easier, but there are going to be hard things. There are going to be things that scare you and make you want to stop. And you need to be unstoppable in the face of those things. And you need to do the hard things. If you don't have a big enough motivation why you want something, if it's not a big enough goal that gets you excited about it, you won't do the hard things. Your subconscious will get you to stop, and that will be so much easier. The reasons will be so much easier. Like the value of breaking through is not high enough to get you to do the hard things. You'd rather not do the hard things. That it's not worth it to me. Okay? So don't continue if you don't have a stretch goal. You must have a stretch goal. The next thing that you need to answer is what gets to happen for you if you actually achieve your stretch goal within the next 12 months, within the next calendar year, within the next fiscal year, whatever your time period was. Asked another way, what's the real positive consequence of this goal? Why do you really want it? What's the impact? What would it mean for you and your family? What would it mean for the world? What would get to happen? Why is this so freaking important to you? Is it just proving it to yourself like I can do it? That was what it was for me. I also wanted financial freedom. I also was like, if I just make $1 million, I will be financially free. And here's the rub. Yes, there was an amazing result as financially, right? It changed my bank account for sure, okay? But the actual freedom came from doing all the work that I needed to do on the inside to break through my invisible barriers so that I could execute on the outer game work, the actual plan, so that I could make that $1 million. By changing who I was being on the inside, I created freedom for myself. I became someone who is no longer afraid of rejection, who is no longer afraid of judgment, who is no longer afraid to take risks, who is no longer afraid to make a mistake or be wrong. I no longer had the I'm not enough isms in my life. Do new things crop up, but I know how to manage them? Absolutely. But I'm fundamentally emotionally free. And that is priceless. That is worth the price of any admission. That I would pay anything for. And I did, okay? I did. And you have to ask yourself, do I want that level of freedom? I also wanted to be able to, just let's get to the money stuff. I wanted to be able to buy whatever I wanted without being concerned about money. You can be in that position. It's possible, but you have to get to that next level. internally and externally. So why is it so important to you? Some people, I've had many clients who are like, I want to live in Florida. I'm in the snowy Northeast or the snowy, central part of the Midwest, right? It's freaking snowing 7 months out of the year. And I want to live in Florida by the beach and live the dream. It could be a house. I know in the beginning for me, part of it was I really wanted to redecorate and have a beautiful environment. Many of my clients say, I want a new car, and they get them, okay? They absolutely 100% get them in a few months, not in like 2 years, 3 years, in a few months. Some people want to, move out of where they're living into a nicer place. Sometimes it's like putting your kids through college. Sometimes it's nicer clothes. What is it to you? What is it to you? Okay? You need to write this down, and you need to get really clear, and you need to feel that emotional feeling with it. If you're just going through the motions, well, it would be nice to have X, Y, and Z, but you're not emotionally involved with it, that's not good enough. Better your best there. Raise your standards. Don't, what is it? What's the Monopoly saying? Don't go past go. Like you can't go past go here. Like you have to really get to dig deep. What does it mean to you to achieve this goal? Okay. Then the next question is the flip side of that. What happens if you don't achieve this goal? Asked another way, what's the real negative consequence of not achieving this goal? If there's nothing at stake, if it's fine to not achieve it, if you don't really want it badly enough to make a real income breakthrough, you're not going to do the work, okay? So if there is no consequence, like, it's fine, life is good enough right now. It's good enough. I've got everything I want. I don't really need anything more. This is not going to work for you. That's how you stay at status quo. Now, I'm not saying not to appreciate your life. I have such a great life. I have such a great life. You have a great life too. I bet you could name, 10, 20 things that you freaking love about your life that are so good. But don't use that like, well, we're not starving, or it's good enough, or I don't really need more, as an excuse not to claim you're good. Now, if you're in that place of just, it's good enough, I don't really want much more, and I just had a conversation with someone about this. She was like, things are really good right now. I've set up my business in the way that I like, and sure, more money would be better, but I have all the time I want to do all the things I want, and I want to be semi-retired. Then she doesn't want to scale. Okay? She wants other things in her life more, which is totally fine. If those other things don't require more money, then she's all good. But if she wants more in other areas of her life and it doesn't require more money, then she doesn't need to do anything more. But if it does require more money, then she needs to get good with that. She needs to be like, oh, I want these other things in my life and I don't have the money for that. So that's why I really want it. Okay? So you have to own that. You have to really own it. So what happens if you don't achieve your goal? Do you let your family down? Do your kids not have a good role model? Do they go without the things that you really want to provide them? Do you go without the things that you really want to provide yourself? Do you not live up to your full potential? Do you live with regret? I really want to make this breakthrough. I really want to do this new thing in my life. I really want to start this new channel in my business. But that's regret, okay? Do you talk big, but then the years pass or the months pass and you haven't actualized on that thing that you really want? You need to recognize that time is passing you by. There's a beautiful quote by Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich, and I'm just paraphrasing it. He says, time is your opponent on the chessboard of life. And here I'm really paraphrasing. He says, it takes no prisoners. It takes no prisoners. There is no way around it. Time is passing. Now, there's a metaphysical way of looking at time, which is saying everything is in the now. But in this 3D human experience that we're having, time is a limited resource that you never get back. So is your life passing you by? What's at stake here? Your freedom, your emotional health, your sense of self, your sense of self-esteem, your self-worth, what you get to do with the money? Get really clear on that. This isn't a negative Nelly kind of thing. This is an honesty thing. This is being transparent with yourself. Because here's the thing. If you don't know what you're moving away from, you won't do the hard things that come up. Human beings move towards pleasure and away from pain, towards what they want, away from what they don't want. And you need to be clear about both if you want to make an income breakthrough, if you want to really quantum leap your income, if you want to double your income, triple your income, quadruple your income, if you want to get to that next level goal, you are going to have to break through the blocks that you have, and you have blocks. I have people tell me all the time, oh, nothing's stopping me. Well, then look at your results. How long have you been at that level? Are you getting the results that you want right now? If you are not, then you are doing something that is stopping you from scaling. And you just have to own that. It doesn't make you wrong or bad. This is not guilt or shame. This is about being honest with yourself. If you say you want to get to 150K and you've been at 100 for the last 2 years, you are stopping yourself. You have an inner game piece that's blocking you, and you need to start working this process a little deeper. So, 2 things. Why do you really want it? What's the impact? What's going to happen if you don't achieve it? What's the impact there? Okay. Then the next question is, how badly do you want it? How badly do you want your goal? And you can quantify this however you want on the scale plan. And we have a download for this. So you can get that in the show notes of this episode. And then I'm going to say this again for the training. And this is on the download for this training is a scale of 1 to 10. So you want to really articulate that for yourself. How committed are you to achieving it? Okay, your goal. Is it a 2? Is it a 3? Is it a 5? If something came up, would you back down from it? If it got too hard, would you back down from it? Now, a lot of you might be saying, Amira, up until now, I have backed down. I haven't stayed committed. Just note that. Do you want to change that? Because there is a way to change this. This is what I teach. I had to learn it for myself. I had to learn commitment. I had to learn accountability. I had to learn focus. It's a learnable skill, okay? You can grow this skill set. So you need to just say right now, today, I'm letting go of my past. I'm not going to let the past influence my commitment. You've already paid for the past. You've already paid for not being committed by not getting your results. Stop with the guilt and shame around that. Clean the slate and say, am I going to be someone who is committed from this point on? And how committed are you to achieving it? You need to be at the top of that scale. Let me just tell you, okay? If you're really going for an income breakthrough, if you're really going for that quantum leap, you need to be at the top of that scale. Okay. Next up, you are going to identify what products and service offerings you currently have. So if you sell products, great. If you sell services, great. If you sell combination, great. List all of them and list what they are sold for. Okay, list all of them and list what they are sold for. So now that you've listed them all out, you actually have to look at whether you can achieve your income goal, what you really want to achieve, with your current offerings at their current price point without being overworked, overwhelmed, or burnt out. Can you sell enough of them to reach your goal? And when you sell enough of them to reach your goal, do you look and go, oh my God, I can't deliver on that. I can't manufacture that. If you have a product or service, I can't sell that much in the hours of the day that I have. Or I can't, if you have a service offering, I can't actually deliver that level of service, that quantity of service. There's just not enough hours in the day. I'm going to be working 40 hours a week doing client execution work, which doesn't work, right? You need time for yourself. You need time to run your business. You need operations time, marketing time, sales time. It doesn't work. You're going to burn out. Okay. You got to get really clear about how this works and how this plays out. You cannot fog out about this. And we have an easy math spreadsheet to help you plug in your numbers and calculate this for yourself. Okay? We've created the rubric so that you can really plug in your numbers and see if the math works. We call it the Make Love to Your Numbers Easy Math Spreadsheet, and it's available in our free Facebook group called Be Unstoppable. And it's in the guides section of that Facebook group. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in using this tool, that is the place to check it out. Okay. I often, when I do a VIP day with my clients, I am like, okay, let's do the math. And we start working the plan. And I go into a little bit more detail with them, obviously, because it's one-on-one work, but I want to give you this tool. You can work this yourself and you can get really super, super clear. So I want to make that easy for you. It's an easy math spreadsheet, but you actually need to work it and do it to see if the plan works, the math works. For most people, what they're currently doing doesn't scale. For most people, there is no way to actually scale their income doing what they're doing. Okay, so making money isn't complicated. There are only 3 ways to make more money. Okay, make additional revenue. And this is the next step: raising your prices, selling more of your existing products or services, so selling more widgets, right? Increasing quantity, or adding a new channel of income. You're going to sell something new. This is a new channel of income. So which one of these are you going to use to scale? And you can use a combination of them. Okay, you could raise your prices and sell more. You could raise your prices and add channel of income. You could leave your prices the way they are and add a new channel of income and increase the quantity of everything overall. You need to do the math. How does it work out? Will I get to my income goal? What's the Rubik's Cube, the puzzle there? Okay. So again, this is where using that Make Love to the Numbers easy math spreadsheet really comes in handy. You can really see by playing with the numbers, what's going to work for you. Okay. So next, you need to be specific and decide. You need to choose your plan. I will increase my revenue by, and you need to fill in the blanks. Raising my prices to blank, increasing the quantity of what I'm already selling by blank, adding this new channel of income and describing that, okay? And if you offer more than one service, right, using that spreadsheet, you can just take a snapshot of it, right? This is what I am doing. This is my plan, Okay? This is my plan. So you've claimed how you're going to do it. You've double checked that it works to reach your income goal within the next 12 months, okay? Year or financial year, okay? Whatever your time period that you've chosen is, does it work? Okay. And then you need to double check. I mentioned this previously, but you're going to need to, with the new plan, you're going to need to double check this again. If you are a service-based business, will you be working too many hours? What kind of standard of living do you want? And how many client execution hours are you doing if you have a service-based business? How much time do you have to be working on the product development? If you're adding new channels of income, you really have to look at the time quotient, okay? Do not pass go if the time doesn't work out, okay? And it has to work out for the standard of living that you want. I was just talking to someone in my mastermind, so my own personal mastermind. I run a mastermind called The Spirit of Wealth. Mastermind and Masterclass, fantastic program, by the by. And I walk my talk. I'm also in a mastermind, okay? And this is a very high level mastermind with people who run 5, 10, $20 million businesses, okay? Like this is a high level mastermind. I was talking to someone just the other day when we were masterminding. He said, I made the decision that when I made my first 100K, I would have one free day a week. When I made my first million, I would have 2 free days a week. And he's increased it every time he's, the next 10 million, I only work 3 days a week, right? I only work 2 days a week. First day, first 100K, it was, okay, now I'm only going to work 4 days a week. First million, I'm only going to work 3 days a week. And now he's only working 2 days a week. Okay. Now he's got a great team and he does other things on those days that are, business development stuff and grooving with things, but it's not scheduled time. Okay. So it's at his discretion versus the business is driving him to do that. So I love that. What kind of standard of living do you want? Okay. I happen to love, like my business is my hobby. I happen to love it. So that's not necessarily a thing for me, but it might be for you. So what kind of, like you might have kids and you don't want to work in the afternoons to when they go to bed, right? You might want to take summers off. Does the time work for you? With all that being said, remember, do not pass go if the time doesn't work for you. It's going to force you to sell fewer things at a higher price point. If you need to reduce your time, or you need to leverage and bring more people into your business to do some of the work that you're doing already. Okay. So next up, we are going to look at the steps that you need to take to achieve this plan, the scale plan that you have created. Because just having the numbers, that gives you a good snapshot, but now we need to know what to do. Everyone asks me, what's the how? I love helping people with the how. I love mapping that out. And right now we're going to do that, but you're going to do it. I'm going to guide you and you're going to do it. Okay? So, what are the steps you already know that you need to take to put this plan into place? Don't worry about the order. I don't care about the order right now. Just get them all down. You want to brainstorm this. If you have Post-it notes in your possession, this is a great time for Post-it notes. You write each idea that you have, each step, and you can put it on a Post-it note. Okay. If you want to use our download and write it in the slots that we have, write that down so it's all in the same, worksheet, so you have it in the same place. Okay. What do you need to do to make this happen, this plan? What are your ideas right now? What would need to change for you? Do you need to hire people? Do you need to put new marketing into place? Do you need to get yourself in a more visible position? Do you need to develop a program? Do you need to develop a product? What do you need to do to execute on this plan? Okay, think about it. What are the steps? Come up with at least 20. You know, ask yourself, what else would I need to do? What, in order to do that, what would I need to do? Right? Like, okay, you're going to write it all down. Okay, now you're going to put it in chronological order. That's the next step. And this is where the Post-it notes are really great. So then you're going to reorder the Post-it notes. Okay. And don't get too caught up in this again. Take your best shot at what comes first, second, third. Just take your best shot. Don't overthink this. Okay? Now we get to celebrate. This is a real moment of celebration. You have an ordered plan. Okay? Is it perfect? Probably not. Okay? Do you have some doubt around it? Maybe. Okay? But it's an ordered plan. It's a great starting place. Okay? Next up, you're going to want to look at what might prevent you from executing on this plan. This is really important, guys. Really important. You're going to want to review each of those steps above that you've just put on the Post-it note or in your list. Is there anything that is stopping you from taking each of those steps? This is where we're going to really flesh things out. Okay. For instance, if one of your steps is going live on Facebook or Instagram and you've never done that before, but it's the idea that came to you in terms of creating more visibility, knowing how to do that may stop you, at least temporarily, or your fear of visibility might stop you. Your fear of judgment and rejection might stop you. What's going to potentially get in your way? Maybe you need a better lighting setup. Maybe you need to watch some YouTube videos on how to do Instagram lives or Facebook lives. Okay, write down all the things that are going to stop you. I don't have the knowledge. I have a mindset block. I have an inner game block. I need some equipment. I need some help with this. I don't know how to do it. I need to research it. What are all the things that might stop you? Don't have enough time. That's a lie. You create time. But you know, write it all down. Okay? So that's your list of challenges. And you're going to want to write down the challenges for each step. Okay? So now you might have 0 challenges for one step. Oh, I know how to do that. I could execute on that right now with no problem. But another step, you might have 10 or 20 challenges like, oh, I need this, I need this, I need this, I need this. But instead of doing what I just demonstrated, which was like, you are going to go into creative problem solving mode and go, this is a challenge, this is a challenge, this is a challenge, this is a challenge. I could solve it in these ways. Okay? I can solve it in these ways. So you're going to want to look in terms of marketing, sales, operations, systems knowledge, team, support, available time, family issues, family lack of support, experience, so lack of experience, confidence, fear, mindset, all of this stuff. Okay? What is it that is stopping you? So let's do a few more examples. So you need to invest in your business. Let's say you need to invest in coaching, or you need to invest in team, or you need to invest in software. You need to spend some money to move through and get the help that you need to do the thing. And you might be like, oh, I don't have the money. Okay? That is an excuse. It looks like you don't have the money. I get that. There's no money in your bank account right now. But here's the truth. The truth is, when the desire is felt, the supply is ready to appear, you then need to ask yourself, well, how would I get the money? Okay? If I want it, and it's a true desire, then I will, and I'm open, right? Like, I want it. It's a true desire. I'm not going to reject myself. I'm not going to put myself off. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to say I want it. So then the way is here. That's the law. It's the law of polarity. The way is here. And then I have to be open to receiving it. What are my ideas? How could I do that? And you brainstorm those ideas. Okay? If you have a question mark around marketing, okay? Like, in order to get to this quantity of sales in my business, I need more leads coming in. So I need to work on my front end, my marketing. What would I need to do to work on my marketing? Do I need to hire someone? Do I need help? Do I need to learn how to do some sort of marketing process? Do I need to move past my visibility blocks or my fear of rejection blocks and start reaching out to my network, my existing network? Do I need to show up more? What kinds of things come to you when you think about marketing? Same thing with sales. Do you actually know how, like, maybe you have plenty of people coming to you, but you're not converting them into sales. What do you need to do differently? Okay, do you need to learn how to do sales? Do you need to realize that sales is service and not something that's makes you greedy or bad or manipulative, that it's something you do for someone, not to someone? Do you need to learn the skill set of sales and get your mindset, master your mindset around this as well? Sales is mindset. Sales is tactical. Yes, there are tactical skills that you need, but 80% of it is who you're being and how you're approaching it, the energy behind it. Okay? Do you need to learn the universal laws? Because you don't understand why we live in an ordered universe. It looks totally random to you. You have no idea what causes need to be put into effect to get the results that you want. Think about all of these things as things that could be stopping you and start identifying them. Okay? Start identifying these challenges. And then what action could you take to solve that challenge that's coming up? What are your solutions to each challenge? I challenge you to come up with 3, at a minimum, solutions to each challenge that you have. In fact, you could come up with 10 if you really stretch yourself. And I'm going to give you a way to do that, okay? And it's using your imagination. And your imagination is such a powerful tool, helps you tap into infinite mind. All the intelligence that is right here in what is called the infinite mind. And you can tap into it by using your imagination. You can also tap into it by being part of a mastermind, right? Tapping into the intelligence of another human being. This is how you leverage, and you leverage quickly, okay? This is using the power of multiple minds together. So, to use your imagination, I want you to pick 3 people in business who you admire, and I don't care if they're dead or alive. Okay? But they need to be someone you admire and someone who has business acumen. Okay? Benjamin Franklin. It could be Napoleon Hill. It could be me. It could be your great uncle who was a multimillionaire. It could be Andrew Carnegie. It could be Sarah Blakely of Spanx, right? It could be Beyonce. She runs a huge enterprise. It could be Oprah. Who are your business mentors, dead or alive? Okay? Pick 3 of them. Now use your imagination. How would these 3 people approach your challenges? What advice would they give you? Okay? You will get multiple answers. Okay? So now take a look at all your ideas and solutions. You're totally creative. You're a creative powerhouse. You have solutions. This is very exciting. Okay. Now, there's ways to tap into bigger solutions and to validate whether you have a great plan or it needs to be tweaked. It's one of the things, we do for our clients is to help them validate their plan. Okay. But right now, you've created a ton of solutions. Let's order them, right? Okay. Let's order them and make sure that you have it connected so that you know that these are now the new steps. Okay. In order to execute on these larger goals, I need to execute on these smaller things that will help me move through the blocks that I have around these bigger items. Okay? The final step to creating a scale plan is asking yourself, who do you need to be to execute on this plan? Who do you need to be to execute on this plan? That's so important. You need to know the attributes of someone who does what you want to do that actually makes this happen. So write that down. Who do you need to be to get into action and execute on these steps and solutions? Do you need to be someone who invests in herself? Do you need to be someone who's accountable? Do you need to be someone who's focused? Do you need to be someone who's committed? Do you need to be someone who does the hard things even when she hits a terror barrier? Do you need to be someone who is open to coaching? Do you need to be someone who's vulnerable yet strong? Do you need to be someone who owns her worth? Do you need to be someone who knows how to change her self-image? Do you need to be someone who has good habits every day? Do you need to be someone who knows the top 3 things that she needs to do every single day and keeps her commitment to that? Who do you need to be? I just gave you a long list that I think is really powerful. I also think you need to be someone who has a lit up life, who's grateful, who's appreciative, who wants more, who's committed to her more life directive, who is someone who owns her feminine while being able to execute in her masculine. There's so many attributes to the woman who actually breaks through and creates her income breakthrough. So to wrap this up, I want to just say, don't make this more complicated than it needs to be. Order your plan, order your solutions, and run with this. And I encourage you, again, to join our Facebook group, the Be Unstoppable Facebook group. We have so many resources there. We have a ton of resources to help you and support you in this scale plan. And I encourage you to go check it out. Okay. And then if you really want to fast track this and break through the blind spots that keep you from executing at the highest level and step into your full potential, book a consult with us. We'd love to help you. Okay. With that, rock it out, be unstoppable, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us and for being a part of the Unstoppable Woman movement. I want to let you know that we've got a ton of free resources for you for scaling your business at theunstoppablewoman.com/free stuff. Please go ahead and check those out. And we'd also love your help in getting the message out. Share this podcast with all the unstoppable women in your life, your friends, your colleagues, your business besties. Please do that. And if you're game, we'd super duper duper appreciate a review on iTunes as well. Thanks so much, and be unstoppable.